Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Let's just give a couple of seconds for more people to join and for everybody to load in. Thank you again for being here. I'm just setting up the live stream very quickly. Give me just one moment, please. We would also like to begin with a quick apology. There was a bit of a mix-up with today's webinar time. We really appreciate those of you who joined early and waited. The good news is that we're here with Emily and we're ready to get started very shortly. And we'll be sending out the full recording afterwards so you can watch at your convenience in case you can't make it to this time. But thank you again for sticking with us. I'm just getting the live stream started over here and we'll be taking it away in just a couple of moments. Please bear with me. In the meantime, I've enabled the chat for everybody to send messages, so please share where you're from, where you're listening from. We would love to hear.
Ooh, Chicago.
Awesome. We're almost live. I mean, just one moment.
Mexico. Hi, Julia from Mexico. Hi from Philly. You're not too far from me. I'm in Ohio. Hopefully it's not snowing there. It's snowing here pretty bad.
Awesome. There we go. We are now live. Thank you so much, everyone, again for being here. Emily, please feel free to take it away. Thank you so much for being here.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Javi. I am so excited to be here. A little nervous, I'm not gonna lie, but super excited. Um, as Javi said, my name is Emily Beal. I'm a product designer with a background in AI from MIT. I have about 10 years of graphic design experience on the marketing side as well as the product side. And I was a participant in She Build Season 1, where I entered the B2B category, and we'll dive a little bit deeper into that later. I'm in Northeast Ohio, and more importantly, I'm so excited to be here and talk about how we can generate joy utilizing AI and specifically Lovable. So, you know that feeling when you try a new product and you're so excited about it, you're excited about the new feature, and then you just get frustrated and you start to hesitate and you feel uncertain? We've all been there, right? That hesitation isn't actually about the technology. It's about how the experience actually makes us feel. And that's why joy matters. Joy is not an afterthought. It's a layer of polish that we add right in the beginning. Joy is what makes people lean in, explore, and trust the products we create. Now, when I say joy, I don't mean a shallow bit of delight or a quick dopamine hit or just a quick smile on our user's face. Here's actually a definition of joy that I found using ChatGPT's deep research model. Joy is the emotion of delight or happiness caused by something exceptionally good or satisfying. Wow, I don't know about you all, but that's powerful because when users feel that kind of joy, they adopt new features faster, they're curious instead of cautious, and they return and they share their experience with others. And when teams feel joy within their workflows, they collaborate better, take smarter risks, and sustain momentum instead of burnout. I know when I'm building, I feel a sense of joy and it keeps me motivated, especially throughout the 48-hour hackathon. In design execution, it shows up in the details, simplifying flows so that people don't get lost, designing dashboards that highlight signals clearly instead of burying them, or using AI to reduce clicks. We can do all of these things right here in Lovable. These decisions create clarity that then generate confidence. But here's the truth. Joy doesn't just show up automatically. In fact, there are real pitfalls when product teams or builders start leaning into AI too much. And we're going to dive into that. Sometimes we take the shiny shortcut. I've definitely been there. Throwing something into ChatGPT and then taking the result, copy and pasting it, and putting right into Lovable without even reading it. But then it starts to get tangled up, and you start losing what the user is actually experiencing because you're not experiencing it yourself as you're building it. People and builders start to feel out of control. Builders, like I said, feel buried. And then the users completely feel uncertain. But these pitfalls are actually avoidable. With the right choices, transparency, feedback loops, and clarity, always, always, always prioritize that clarity. AI becomes the partner instead of the problem. Like I said in Lovable, when you start working in Lovable and you're building something, if it's not clear to you as you build, it's probably not going to be clear to your end user. And that's three ways that joy, that leads me to the three ways that joy comes into play. So when we use AI intentionally, it unlocks three powerful patterns that turn uncertainty into clarity, risk into trust, and work into to momentum. These are literally the three huge keys that I always lean into when I build. Clarity and meaning. When you use Lovable to synthesize feedback, highlight decisions, and preview outcomes, you can cut through the noise. Users see a clear path forward, and it's easier to make this tangible through scannable summaries and dashboards that surface that matters the most. Take it that step further when you're building and think about it on a higher level or even a deeper level and see, put yourself in that user's shoes to figure out how you can make their experience more joyful. Create safety and flow. Trust grows when people can preview, undo, and understand what's happening. The back feature or breadcrumbs are something that I just recently implemented in a project that I didn't really even think of until I tried to navigate through it. Add automation on top of that, and it's easy to stay in rhythm while users experience smoother, less frustrating workflows. Builders then bring this to life with inline warnings, streamlined UIs, and invisible busy work. Lastly, connection. You can use AI to spotlight wins, milestones, and impacts. For builders, especially working on teams throughout the hackathon, this could boost morale. Think about it. If you're working with someone across the world, you could easily create like a thank you GIF or even like an image in Dolly or even something really quick and lovable to share to them to make them feel seen, to make them feel appreciated with all the work that they're doing. When clarity, safety, and connection are all in place, adoption isn't just forced, it flows. This is where I start to get really, really excited. I actually used ChatGPT before diving into Lovable to understand what's going on with my end users. And if you don't have the time in a 48-hour hackathon to actually understand and take the time to make the phone calls, to knock on some doors, do whatever you need to actually have those conversations, maybe you can lean into ChatGPT. I'm going to dive deeper into the project I built, but I have a background in the trades industry. So think HVAC technicians, electricians, plumbers, the people that typically show up at your house to help fix whatever problem might be going on. So I needed to be able to talk to them. I had phone calls with them. I I highly recommend recording them. We'll get to that in a second. But I also wanted to be able to just talk to them at a moment's notice. So I told ChatGPT, I need you to be a frustrated HVAC tech. Tell me about yourself. ChatGPT immediately leans into this role. Ugh, fine. Here's your grumpy HVAC tech. My name's Mike, but it doesn't matter. I've been wrenching furnaces, ACs, ductwork for about 12 years. Already leaning into the personality. This is amazing because this is exactly what I need. Because he's probably going to tell me his problems. Tell me more about your demographics. Again, trying to figure out the most you can about your user. Now, I would not recommend solely going off of ChatGPT. I would also recommend maybe using this as a baseline and then validating it by talking to real end users. So starts to tell me a little bit about himself, which is awesome. I even tell it, your voice seems legit, but what do you look like? This is how deep I'm diving into the end user. I need to picture him in my head. I'm about 5'11", solidly built, think stocky, not lanky, broad shoulders. I end up creating a picture of Mike just so I really can step into their shoes and understand the person I am solving for. With that, I continue to talk to my end users, see how they line up with this ChatGPT. And as I was building and trying to figure out and prioritize what features to build, I was asking Mike and validating through the users I was talking to on what problems to solve next. But let's dive into the building now. So I created Gauge, which essentially is an AI for HVAC, electricians, and plumbers to upload their code books to this experience. When I was talking to the end users, they started telling me that they had a hard time understanding if they're new or just accessing the knowledge on the field or in the field. And when they were able to upload the PDF and just ask it simple questions, it made their knowledge base more experienced to what they were doing. But I didn't stop there. And this is where I think it's key to start prioritizing your end users. Through She Builds Unlovable Season 1, I built a whole ecosystem. I took advantage of every single credit that I had, and I actually built an entire ecosystem. And what I mean by that is I took what the problem I was solving for my end users a step further. I not only created the app that you see here that is fully, the onboarding experience is there, it's completely integrated, completely functional, but I also created this experience so when the judges view it, that they would be able to understand and step into my user's shoes. I created an experience where they could download a manual. I also made it so they could download a code book. They could view it live or view the project right on Lovable. I highly recommend doing this because it makes the judges' experience of the hackathon a lot easier because then they don't have to spend time digging through all of your work to figure it out. They're actually spending more time to figure out what you actually built and understand that experience rather than just fumbling through it. From there, I also created a marketing website. It's a super simple thing to do. If you already have an app, you probably already have a UI system, and then it already knows so much about you. Use the chat mode, say how much, it already knows a lot about your project. Use that chat mode to ask it, hey, if I were to create a marketing website for this product, what would I do? Create a prompt for that, and then it'll generate a prompt. But I still didn't stop there. Because I was in the B2B category and I have a background in field service management, I also created a prototype on how it would integrate with field service management software in the field. So essentially, if a larger field service management software platform wanted to integrate Gauge, they could. And I had a whole example there. But I still didn't stop there. I ended up creating an image library based on the feedback I had gotten from my end users when they were talking about they want to be able to see themselves and be able to relate to themselves actually using the product. And what that looked like was, this might take a second to load, but essentially, actual tradesmen, AI generated tradesmen, with my software that I had created, Gauge, on their phone. So then, whenever I think about when marketing teams need to take this to market, now they have images for their websites, they have images for their social media, really anything, and it's all customized to my actual end user to help them convert. So yeah, so that is a little bit about my submission and why I think prioritizing the end user, all of your end users is key because it creates the whole seamless experience. Whether it's software for the trades or a SaaS platform, one thing is always true. People lean in when they feel seen, when they feel safe. And this applies at two levels. For builders using AI who need to trust the tools and when they collaborate, and for users of the products who we build for, who need to trust the product in order to adopt it. Safety is what allows curiosity, collaboration, and adoption to flourish. Without it, teams hesitate and users feel disengaged and not excited. So, what does safety actually look like in practice? It shows up in small, consistent patterns that build trust. Think consistent UI, consistent padding in the system on how it's designed. All those little details and that consistency you're providing creates a seamless and trustworthy experience. These may sound simple, but as a designer, I see them as interface patterns, things we prototype, test, and refine. They're what make AI outputs feel safe enough to try and products that we're building safe enough to adopt. And when the trust is there, we move faster, we take smarter risks, and collaborate more freely. Our users lean in, adopt more deeply, and stay longer. Safety is the ultimate bridge to joy. Another example, just because why not? We're the ladies here, right? That I wanted to share is about one time when I went on a road trip. And for those of you who have kids, if you've ever been on a road trip, you're gonna hear one dreaded question. Are we there yet? But instead of being frustrated with this question, you could, if you're hesitant to figure out how to use AI or turn to Lovable, or you're looking for that problem to solve for your project, think about these small moments that you're maybe getting frustrated by, but you can maybe turn it into a project in Lovable. For this project, I used ChatGPT originally to map out all of the places we would go along the journey. I ran a quick research study by having a conversation with a 6-year-old to uncover what mattered most, which turned out to be the tunnels that we would drive through. Finally, I used Dolly inside of ChatGPT and created a custom coloring map to visualize the progress and celebrate those moments. And maybe someday, possibly, I will be turning to Lovable to make this a generator. The result, she went from frustrated to engaged. From are we there yet to are we at the next place? She tracked milestones, stayed engaged, and absolutely owned the journey. And for me, I actually ended up posting this on LinkedIn and connected with so many other people that thought this way just like me. And so I highly recommend as you're building and you feel confident about certain milestones that you hit, I highly, highly, highly recommend sharing and building in public on LinkedIn or Twitter or whatever channel you feel most comfortable in. Because when you put it out there, it'll gravitate towards you. So we talked about a lot today, but here's the core takeaway. Joy isn't abstract. It's actually measurable. It shows up in adoption signals, the projects we build, the lack of frustration that we're feeling, and fewer help requests on bigger, larger teams, faster success, and people coming back not because they need to, but because they actually want to. AI doesn't just change what we build, it changes how we build, like we do in Lovable. With curiosity, dialogue, safety, and small steps, we create joy inside of the work. And that joy flows directly to users throughout products that feel clear, supportive, and engaging. So, as you start working on your problems and head into season 2, some of my invitations to you are before even diving in, we have this time before the hackathon starts. Start doing something small. Don't build in Lovable yet. Don't start your projects yet. I know it's hard, but start something small. Like start, if you're newer to Lovable, start with a daily frustration you have and try to use ChatGPT or the chat feature in Lovable to dive deeper into that project and dive deeper into the problem and dive deeper into yourself as a user to try to solve that problem. Stay curious. You can use AI to frame problems and expand your options and lean into the chat mode in Lovable. I absolutely love it when I'm stuck. Build safety. Give people previews, explanations, and ways back. I think when we're building in Lovable, especially at a very tight turnaround, it's easy to forget those things, but don't. One of my favorite features, actually, or one of my favorite prompts, is actually to go back and tell it, let's optimize for mobile, because a lot of times that strategy is completely forgotten, but the majority of the time we're on our mobile devices. Joy isn't just built from the beginning. And when teams design this way, adoption, trust, and momentum don't just happen, they grow. So, thank you, ladies. I'm so incredibly excited for you. I'm so excited to be here, and I would love to answer any questions you might have.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Emily. We have a couple of questions here in the chat, although if anybody has more questions for Emily, please make sure to send them. I can read them out for you if you want me to, or if you can look at the chat, that's also doable.
Sure. Um, I could start with the first one, maybe. And then if Javi, if you want to go through and you can pick out the next one.
For sure.
Um, let's go. Kathy, how do you do the manual document and the code book? How many credits did you use total? My credits I used total for all of those experiences together were over, I believe it was 1,000. Oh, I can't remember the exact number. It was over 1,000 credits. I ended up having to contact Whitney. But when you upload the manual and the code book, I just created that experience so people can click on it and upload it. It's super simple.
Awesome. Sorry, we have a question in the Q&A, but that's more directed towards me. So
Oh,
I've just
okay.
sent that out over here. It's about the sessions that were recorded yesterday. Let me send out the links to rewatch those sessions here in the chat. There we go. I've answered you directly, but I'm also sending that in the actual chat. But we have a question from Veronica there. Let me ask that for you. It says, Emily, do you recommend writing one main prompt for the whole project and then adjusting it page by page? Or is it better to create separate prompts for each page from the start?
This is heavy. I'm sure you hear this a lot. This is the golden question. Um, so it depends on the project. I would say what I do is I kind of come up with a document of my user, the problem, and how I think I'm going to solve it. And I figure out the one feature that will probably solve that, and I start building on that. Now, how do prompts come into play, right? So I will actually start my first 3 to 5 prompts in chat mode in Lovable and tell it, hey, these are the users I'm solving for. This is the problem. And here's what I think is the solution. And here's the feature I think I want to start building. And I'm literally doing that in separate prompts and having a conversation with it, almost as if I'm talking to a developer. So then that way it understands. So when I do start going rogue, it has that foundation already built. And then start building from there, kind of baby steps. I've heard a lot of people do a PRD and put it in there. I've tried that as well. I just find I have more control when I go prompt by prompt. I hope that helps. Let's see. Does Lovable work well for mobile apps or just websites? Can we try Lovable prompting for a different already completed project? I'll let Javi answer that one. But the first question, does Lovable work well for mobile apps or just websites? For Gauge, I actually created it as a mobile experience and desktop experience. There is a way that you can publish your URL and save it on iPhone and I believe Google Pixel, Android. Save it as a home page on your phone. So then that way it looks like it's an actual app on your phone. So I would say yes.
Awesome. Perfect. And for your second question, can we try Lovable prompting for a different already completed project that we won't be using for the hackathon? Yes, you can use Lovable for your projects in general. The main thing about the She Built on Lovable event is that you can pivot and do everything just as long as your project is started when the actual build-a-thon starts. So you're all good on that front. I think we have a new question for you here, Emily. Your design looks fabulous. Did you go with the first design style, or did you change it at times? How did you keep it consistent? That's a great question.
That is a great question. So I actually, this is what happened. This is the amazing part of what happens when you actually get the chance to talk to your end users. And I was able to talk to some of them, and they expressed to me that sometimes it's hard for them to see. Think accessibility, some might be colorblind, or a lot of times, the tradesmen I talked to, they said they need like a dark UI. So then that way it's easier to read, with high contrast. So I ended up going away from the higher tech kind of vibe. Like I wouldn't go the UI looking more like she builds if my end user is primarily male focused in a male dominated industry. Obviously, prioritizing also the women in mind. But I started to shift that way. And once I started shifting that way, you can ask ChatGPT to create a UI system for you. I actually find that Lovable Chat creates the best UI between ChatGPT and Lovable. So if you just ask it like, hey, how should I, in chat mode, ask it, hey, how should I create a consistent UI? I would highly recommend doing that. Um, Sorry, I got lost hobby. I don't know which one would be next.
No worries. About the links, just sent those again. Can you talk more about integrating map as you did with your project from
Yeah.
Sugar? I think that's the
I
next
think
question we have here.
Oh, I see. Can you talk more about the map I did with the project? So, I think you're referencing the map I might have done for the She Builds on Lovable Pulse. And I'll be honest with you, I had absolutely no idea what I was doing, but I knew I wanted the map in there. And so I just asked Lovable, hey, how can I create a map that will auto-generate when people submit and their location, so it auto-generates on there. And went from there. And luckily, it not only worked, but I could prompt and edit it as I went. I try to keep as much as I can in Lovable and not introduce outside APIs, but that was one I definitely did. I wish that was a feature we could just maybe someday, but yeah.
And
Um,
the next question is, do you have any suggestions for incorporating safety into the design specifically if you're building for end users who typically use offline systems who you're trying to transition to using digital and online tools?
Oh, this is such a good question because this is literally what Gage was. Because I previously had worked at a field service management software platform, and we were literally solving this problem, trying to get tradesmen off of paper and into the digital experience is a challenge. But I would say, in terms of design, I would lean in and see maybe competitors or maybe, once you figure out your end user, what else they like to do, what other tech they're using, and start seeing if there's any patterns in those UIs. Like if the majority of the competitors in that space or the majority of products that those end users are using are mostly white, then it's probably a good safe bet to use a lighter or white UI. So I would lean into that. Um, is the next one cat, I think. Lovable work, Cat, I think you're next. Lovable works great for developing. Oh no, I think we talked about that one. Sorry.
No worries at all. I think the next one we have is here from the Q&A box, and that's more towards me, about the opening and closing time for the build-a-thon itself for She Builds. So it starts on Monday, December the 15th at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. So uh, we're having the kickoff event happening at that time. We'll be happy to see you there. If you can't make it, no worries at all. We know that, having a global event happening at different time zones is super tricky to be there sometimes. So we'll be recording that session and sharing it for you to catch up if you'd like to. And but yes, to answer your question, the start time is 8 a.m. Eastern Time. And it will be closing on the 17th Well, the wrap-up event is on the 17th at 8 a.m. as well.
Yeah. Make sure you give yourself enough time to record the video. I recorded mine 2 minutes before submitting. Um, I think we have time for maybe one more hobby. Are you good with that?
Yes,
Okay.
we
Um, looks like Kathy, great question. Did you plan to build out an ecosystem? How did you plan for that multiple plant build out? Um, Great question. No, I did not plan for that initially. I was thinking about it in the back of my mind in the sense of, okay, if this was a business, if this became something, if my end user, if actually wanted my end users to pay for this platform, how would I get them to do that? I was like constantly thinking that as I was building. And to be honest with you, I didn't think I would have enough time. I ended up restarting my project 24 hours into the hackathon. So I built all that essentially in 24 hours. But once you have the your main, I would stay focused. Don't focus on building the ecosystem. I would say have your goals, like focus on your main platform. My main platform was that Ask Gauge where they upload and they ask for advice on their manuals and their code books. And then from there, see if you have time for a marketing website. And then from there, now I will say there was a moment in between like my marketing website and building out either the B2B experience or building out the judging housing experience that you just saw. But I think that that was really important because I didn't, no offense to Whitney or Elena, but since they're in tech, they probably don't have experience with code books and manuals. I know I did not until I started working with this. So I wanted to make sure that it was as clear as possible. So I knew to me that was a big priority too. So yeah. So if you have time, definitely keep building. I mean, you have the credits. Why not? So
Emily, respect on building yours in just 24 hours. That's
thanks.
great. And as Kathy said, that's even more amazing.
Thanks. I didn't
Awesome.
sleep, but I'm catching up on my sleep still.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I think that's all we have if we're hanging out on Discord. We're always hanging out on Discord. We have a great community on She Builds on Lovable on Discord, so please make sure to participate there. If you still don't have access to the Discord channel, please make sure to send me an email. I'm setting my email address here in the chat, and I'll be happy to get you added. Just sending it here. And Emily, thank you so much for taking the time to deliver this wonderful webinar. You did amazing, and this was super insightful and inspiring for all of our attendees. So thanks for your time. Thank you to our attendees for being here, and we're so excited for next week. Have a fantastic rest of your day, or night, or morning, and take care. Thank you so much again for being here.
Thanks, Abby. Thanks, everyone. Good luck. We'll talk in
Thank you. Good
Discord.
luck, everyone. Bye.
Bye.